Rocket League tips for beginner to advanced players. Most of these you would have heard of, but I think it's fundamental to work in order to improve how you play. Even if you're SSL, I recommend sticking around because you can always improve. Disclaimer, I'm not doing this because I think I'm amazing, I just think it helped me, so it might help you too. Wave dash. If we're in a game and you have no boost, you can perform a wave dash, which sort of helps get you up to supersonic without having to use boost. Now, you can use boost, and to do that, as you see, I'm tilting my car back, and once my back wheels hit the floor, I'm then pushing forward and jumping again. And it sort of launches your car forward, which creates your wave dash. Normally, you need about 2 or 3 of these in order to speed right up to get supersonic. So they're really good to help boost your speed without using a whole ton of boost. You can use them with boost in order to get there a little bit faster. Super situational. They're really useful just because they're such a quick mechanic. Really fundamental to learn. As well as that, they're really good for recovery. So when you have a bad landing and you need to speed back up, all you have to do, hit a quick wave dash and you'll be right where you were before you even messed up. The second thing I would recommend learning would be flicks, just because they're so useful in getting it over someone's head. They're a lot better in ones just because you've only got to get it over one person, but in twos it's really useful as well. I like to practice these in training. Just go in training, make sure you've got a bind where the ball can just be placed on your head or in front of you. Get the ball on your head and start driving. Once it's comfortable being on your head and you practice that a little bit, all you got to do is start flipping. So once it's right on top of your car, just front flip, it will go sort of forward, and also flip sideways and it will sort of do more of a pop. And you can also back flip, which is more of just a straight up. You haven't got to be musty or anything doing all these musty flicks or breezy flicks. You can get to them once you're more comfortable doing standard flicks and doing them consistently. Getting up for the ball. Now, I'd say go into a training pack, a bit like me. This one's just basic. It's just, it pops the ball up. You've just got to get up to it. Now, while you're starting, I would recommend not really shooting on the goal. Just try and hit the ball at all, because a lot of newer players especially find it really hard to even control the car in the air, let alone try and hit it towards the goal. And as you get more comfortable shooting your car up and hitting it, then just start aiming your car more towards the goal. And if you're more comfortable of a player, then you can use air roll. I like to use free air roll because I find it easier. Use your air roll to sort of direct the ball with a bit more precision than what your car normally has. If you use air roll, you can sort of maneuver your car in more dimensions and hit the ball with really super specific parts of your car. It's what will help you get it over people more. And yeah, just practice that before your games. When you first get on, jump in a bit of training, do maybe 20 minutes on some different maps, and then just keep more of a routine with it, and it will improve. Next would be pinches. Now, don't get me wrong, these are super duper hard to get consistently and every single time on target. But I think they're really useful, especially for clearing the ball, because you can just, no one expects them, especially at the lower sort of ranks. Even in like diamond, no one really expects. It's just something that sort of happens. So if you can get really good at them, then you'll be on the road to success. I tend to do it in training because I don't really see a point in finding a whole pack just for this. All you got to do is put the ball like you're going to go for an air dribble. So take it to the wall, and as it gets sorted to the line, jump and try and flip into the corner of the ball. So at one side of the ball, flip straight into it and it will shoot that way. So if you jump into the right side, it will shoot to the left. Jump to the left side, it will shoot to the right. And then you got up and down as well. But I like to air roll my car so that my wheels to the right if I'm shooting to the left if I'm shooting to the right. I just find it gets more consistency. Now, I'm not very good at them. I can get decent ones, but I am yet to get one that shoots straight into the goal, because they're really unpredictable unless you're nuts at them. I suppose if you just practice it, just make sure you can do them a bit. Just then, if you get into a game, you can easily clear the ball or get like a a downfield pass to your friend. The last sort of legit mechanic to learn would be an air dribble. I said about it in the pinch, but if you don't know how to do it, the same sort of lead up as the pinch, you take it to the wall, keep it in front of you, try keeping it on the floor because they'll sort of bounce off the wall, and just drive into it. You don't have to go super fast, and as it crosses that line, you try hitting it and jumping. So what I'd do is I'd take it to the wall, I'd hit it at the line, and then just try practice jumping off the wall. Don't worry too much about getting to the ball, but just try that motion of sort of flicking off the wall. Once you've got that, you can start trying to maneuver your car in the air towards the ball. If you don't have any sort of air roll, it might be a bit more difficult, and you're just gonna have to know how to move the car without turning it. But you can do it without air roll. It might just take a little bit more finesse. You can do them backwards, you can do them sideways. They're really good to learn, just so that then when you do air roll, it makes it a lot easier because you know how to like maneuver the car in the air, and it sort of leads you up to do everything, like all these fancy like flip resets, ceiling shots. It's the fundamental to learn all of that. So it's going to take a long time to learn. It does with anyone, but you just got to try and get to it. Normally sort of like 3 touches to sort of qualify as a legit air dribble. But as long as you're sort of hitting it towards the goal, don't really worry about staying on it. It's going to take a long time to actually stay with the ball. The free boost rule literally just means always have 3 pads in your boost. Rather than going all the way back to the big boost pad to get the 100, 3 pads is really all you need in order to do anything like saves, clearances. You can keep it on your head with that. A lot of new players just tend to run all the way at the big pad and sort of leave the ball. But if you can just learn rotations and get in the little pads, all you need is 3. The next thing would be something called Autopilot. That's what a lot of the pros call it. It's literally just where you sort of shut your brain off. Not enough so that then you're, playing bad, but it's just so your subconscious brain is more taking the actions. By doing this, you stop overthinking stuff and you tend to play better purely because you won't be going for these crazy things. You'll play more consistent, and yeah, it will just leave it a lot easier. I tend to do it where I just sit back a bit more and just observe, and just sort of watch your teammate cover the net, and just go for things that you know are safe and that you know you're gonna be able to hit consistently. As you can see, just finish that game. What you want to do, if you did particularly good or particularly bad, is save your replays, and then you can jump back in them, and you'll pick up on things that you've done, either good or bad, that you would have missed during the game. So like any whiffs, any really good shots, and you can really analyse the way you play and make changes that you'll remember because it's you that's doing it. It'll make it a lot easier to improve rather than watching pros that are already doing really good stuff. And you can always, if you're playing with teammates, you can analyse how you're playing as a team, and then adjust like your sort of chemistry to create more passing plays, more opportunities, that sort of thing. It just overall will improve. Lastly, I think the biggest thing to remember is it's just practice. It's just the more you play, the better you will eventually become. And one bad day doesn't mean that you're getting worse or anything like that. It just means it's a bad day and the next day might be better. I tend to, if I'm doing quite bad for a while, I'll come off, give it a few hours, jump back on, and it tends to sort of fix it. But yeah, the more you practice, the better you'll be. Just jump in some training before you play, grind, because that's essentially all this game is. Yeah, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment as well.